It's been 7 hours and 15 days.
Well, it's been more like 8 months and 15 days since I got rid of my iPhone 14 Pro Max, and since it's been gone, I can do whatever I want.
I could enjoy multitasking and even in a fancy folding phone as well.
But with the iPhone 15 Pro Max being here, can anything actually compare?
I'm Alex and I do down-to-earth tech videos.
I've been doing a lot of comparisons between the iPhone 15 Pro Max and the S23 Ultra, and I have to say, the more I do this, the more I realize it's kind of futile. If you like the iPhone, you probably like it for what it is, and you probably don't care about what else is out there. Sure, I found something that works better for me, my way of working and how I enjoy multitasking and entertaining, but I thought I'd give the 15 Pro Max a proper chance.
Has the 15 Pro Max made me wobble a little bit and want to go back to Apple? Sure, I mean, when it comes to video quality, it's undeniable what Apple has done here, right?
But my quote-unquote job here is to provide you with useful reviews, right? So in this video, I decided to focus on the iPhone, on its merits, and highlight what's been good in this first few weeks and what needs work as well. One of the biggest concerns I had with the iPhone 15 Pro Max was the battery and overheating, of course. I know Unbox Therapy had a different view and thought what I shared was
a speculation and accusation at the moment.
I don't have any ties with Apple, and even if I did, my integrity means more, you know? I can't just lie to you. I put you first before any brand. So sharing those early issues were important in my view, and I hope that you appreciated that. I respect Lou and what he's done, you know, in Unbox Therapy, but testing for overheating after Apple fixed the issue proves nothing to me. My main point throughout this whole thing has been, when I buy a product from Apple, I expect it to be bloody perfect. In fairness to Apple, right now, after a couple of software updates, Lou, those overheating issues do seem to have gone. Time will tell though, right, when those AAA games come to the iPhone, but rest assured, I'll be here to test that for you as well. But what about the battery? In my case, the overheating and the battery performance went hand in hand. Now that the dust has settled a bit, the only thing that I noticed was, you know, quite expected as well, is that video seems to be really draining more battery than anything else on the iPhone, and actually more than it did on the 14 Pro Max from memory. And I'm just talking standard video of like 4K 60, not ProRes. If you add ProRes to the mix and recording externally as well, expect another 30% hit on the battery, give or take. But on a typical day where I'm using the iPhone a lot and trying to emulate as much as possible how I'd normally use my devices, I'm getting a full day's battery with plenty going into the second day as well. Really don't see any issues here, and I've been saying this for quite some time as well, now regardless of the device, that if we can get to the end of the day on a full charge, it's pretty good, right? Because it's quite simple then to just charge your devices overnight. The iPhone doesn't charge as fast as other phones, it has to be said, but again, the same principle applies, right? Unless you're in a rush and you're trying to leave the house with only 1% left, it's pretty easy to always start the day with a full battery. Something that I have mixed feelings about is the iPhone display right now. I honestly didn't mind the notch that we had on the 13 Pro Max, and I thought that the trend of getting that notch smaller and smaller would eventually lead us to having nothing on the display. I understand that we need to house the Face ID and some other sensors in there, but I don't know, others seem to have managed to reduce the amount of stuff that we have on the display, whilst Apple is going the other way and having this dynamic island. That aside, the display is what we've come to expect from any flagship devices, right? Very bright, sharp, very smooth to watch content. I kind of get why Apple does this, from a marketing and branding perspective. And sure, it's cute to have this dynamic island animations, whatever, but when I want to enjoy my content, I just much rather not have this obtrusion here, right? It's just not very immersive to me. I've actually been trying these mixed reality headsets or XR headsets from Viture, who are sponsoring today's video. And as you can imagine, there's no intrusive notch, no punch holes or dynamic island. When you're viewing content through this, it's fully immersive. This is giving you a 120-inch virtual screen without any distraction from your content. It's essentially a private theater screen, but on your face. It's simply plug and play as well via USB-C, and you know how much I complain about the fact that we can't multitask on the iPhone? Well, with this headset, you can actually have a document open and another app on the side, extra widgets, and multiple screens as well. I think that's pretty cool, especially when I'm working from home. Whether or not you pair your iPhone with a keyboard and mouse as well for an even better experience, you could literally just sit and work anywhere with this. It's super light at approximately only 2.8 ounces or 78 grams. It has built-in Harman speakers as well, which are surprisingly good without disturbing those around you. And when you install the Spacewalker app, the iPhone can work as a pointer as well for you to move things around, or you can use the iPhone as a trackpad to scroll, swipe, and minimize the screen when someone comes to talk to you. You can have multiple windows open, and you get a convenient dock as well at the bottom, which is like where have we seen that before, right? Sounds like Samsung Dex almost, right? That helps you kind of navigate through your different windows as well. Super cool. Now, when you really want to switch off completely for a bit and enjoy content without having to hold your iPhone, you can get even more immersive here by changing the background darkness with a single tap on the side here. Honestly, I can see this being such a game changer when I travel for work or when I just want to take a breather and enjoy some content or play games as well. The default setting lets the content kind of move with your head. You can change this behavior by triple pressing the mode button on the side, and that would just make the screen float in a locked in space. I normally wear glasses or contact lenses as I'm nearsighted, but the beauty with feature is that for me, I can just use the dials here at the top to adjust to my eyesight, and it goes up to -5 as well. From a comfort and convenience perspective, this is awesome. Amazing technology. Great to see that things are progressing in this space as well, finally.
I really think the experience is taken to another level with this, you know?
Check out the link in the description to get the iPhone pack, or scan the QR code here if you're watching this from a TV, and use the code AlexG at checkout and you get 10% discount. And thanks so much, Vichur, for making this video possible.
Going back to the iPhone display though, something that I noticed is that True Tone sometimes really messes up with the color accuracy for me.
I know it's intended for the exact opposite, but I personally found that, it's better to use True Tone in the evenings for me. During the day, I just prefer to turn it off because the image, I don't know, it feels a little bit too warm for me. I don't know if it's the lighting that I've got here, even though I've got a lot of daylight during the day. So I created a shortcut automation to do that for me. So at night, it will basically just turn on True Tone, and during the day, it will turn True Tone off. It would be nice to have that as an option within the settings, but for now, the shortcut will do for me. When we talk about watching content on any device, audio becomes really important as well, right? I know this will be different depending on how you watch content, if you wear headphones or earbuds, but for me, I watch a lot of content just, through the speakers. And I found something interesting with the iPhone 15 Pro Max.
This is very consistent with what I found on the 14 Pro Max. On the 14 Pro Max, I thought it was, really clear, up to about 80%. Now, Apple seems to have improved it. I don't know if it's due to new hardware or maybe it's the casing, I don't know. But you can now go to full volume and it's not as distorty as it was when I was testing the 14 Pro Max. It still kept the kind of the spatial audio aspect of it. I mean, it's not like wearing the AirPods Max or anything, but it seems to be more immersive audio. I did think maybe it's the titanium casing that's adding something to the acoustics here, but if you know the science behind this, let me know in the comments because yeah, I'm just kind of relating what I'm experiencing here. But yeah, if you know the reason why this is the case, let me know.
There is nothing easy about being a Jedi.
Well, then I should have made a good one.
Yes. You should have.
Playing demanding games will really come later, right, as we start to see those AAA games being released. But there are games today that I know will really push any smartphone. And my experience has been pretty good actually. Now I wouldn't say perfect because I'd be lying to you if I said that the iPhone feels nice and cool in the hand. It feels way more comfortable to hold it now, but as you can see, this thing gets pretty hot. After an hour of playing, you do get in that 100-degree sort of range, so definitely not the coolest phone to play games in. Does that impact the performance though? Going straight from gaming to say browsing the socials or opening documents doesn't feel sluggish or anything. So I think, yes, the A17 Pro is doing its thing, but perhaps not being cooled properly. Now, something that may surprise you if you haven't used an iPhone for a long time is iOS 17. Arguably the most unique aspect of the iPhone experience-wise, iOS itself. Personally, I think we've had more of an evolution in the Android world because of the variety of devices that we get there, but it's not to say that the iOS 17 is the same old iOS. My experience with iOS 16 was terrible, but there's been some nice changes here that I think you might appreciate. Customizing your phone, for example, is a lot easier now. By the way, this is my new wallpaper pack. I'll leave a link down in the description for you. It has different aspect ratios as well for tablets and computers, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. And it's been quite popular too, and I've got a promotion to the end of the month, so yeah, have a look at that. Now, going back to iOS 17, there's a hardware feature that's making it even more important, and I'm talking about the action button. I do think the action button could be even better. For now, it's already quite powerful because you can assign it to a shortcut. In fact, you can set it up to execute an action within a shortcut, which it's not something you can do on Android today. You can assign the side button on Samsung, for example, to do other things, but not at this granular level. I love to be able to double tap or triple tap the action button as well to do different things, but it's already a nice iOS feature. So Apple, if you're listening, yeah, double tap. You know, you not this double tap on the side. Something that I was kind of skeptical about, and I'm still not sure, is using Siri for dictating stuff like an article or like a video like this. It does seem to have improved. I don't want to speak too soon here, but it's not quite at the same level as the Pixel, I don't think. I can see the iPhone still struggles with punctuation and some words, but it's way better than it used to be. I'm talking at my natural speed here, and what you're seeing is how the Pixel 7 Pro and the 15 Pro Max deal with it. Which reminds me, actually, I put a lot of care and love into these videos for you. It may seem like a small gesture, but a simple like and sharing this video with someone who likes tech is the best way for you to support the channel, support me really. And if you like my stuff, it would be awesome if you subscribed. In return, I will be here at least once a week with a new down-to-earth tech video for you. Now, without comparing the 15 Pro Max to anything today, I just wanted to show you some pictures that I took, experiencing the different modes on the iPhone and the different lenses as well in different situations.
You said you want a bad one. Well, baby, I'm as bad as they come. Said you want a hot one. Yeah, you with the hottest under the sun. But be careful.
And when it comes to video, wow, I mean, I think the iPhone has faced some fierce competition recently, especially in the photo and video quality aspects. But I think with video in particular, Apple has really done a good job here. I'm not even talking about ProRes, which is also incredible, but standard 4K 24 or even 4K 30. Yeah, this seems to have stepped up a notch or two from last year. If you know what you're doing, and I don't, you can get way better footage than I can here by using manual settings and dialing in some of the settings yourself, or adding an ND filter, which I do try sometimes. But there's something that still bugs me a little bit, I can't deny it really. I still see some issues in certain video modes, depending on the lighting, but 9 times out of 10, the footage that I'm getting on the iPhone is very usable. I mean, usable is silly to say that, right? It's superb. It's very pleasing to watch. The iPhone 15 Pro Max is a powerhouse. There's no doubt about that. It will cope with a lot of workloads and especially excel at things that involve the cameras like you've seen today.
But to me, I think it still needs a couple of features to make it a little bit more useful when it comes to getting work done. But at the same time, I do appreciate that you can get a lot of work done on the iPhone as it is, and you may not care about the type of multitasking that I, for example, care about.
If you're used to the iPhone and you're coming from an older version, you really appreciate some of these new features here, and for you, nothing compares really with the iPhone. But if you're coming from a more recent Android device, especially if it's like the S21, S22 Ultra, or even the S23 Ultra, I think there will be things that you will definitely be missing. Personally though, I still think the 15 Pro Max was a mistake for me, but I will explain why in my next videos. See you soon.
What's up? I've been on a paper chase for months. I've been on a marathon for months. All in all, I can't just get enough, I know. What's up? I've been on a paper chase for months. I've been on a marathon for months.